So the 2017 boys are back up in the building. iPhone 10 versus Samsung Galaxy S8 speed test 3 years later. 3, 2, let's go on this boot up now. So both of them are in their third year. The iPhone 10 officially will be 3 in September, but these are both 2017 flagships. And the reason I got interested in checking these out one more time is just to see kind of how an older Samsung is performing. Also, this S8 is not going to get Android 10, it seems like. So you're done with your 2-year updates for your Galaxy S8, which is a little bit disappointing because if you decided to pick the iPhone 10 over the S8, you are still getting updated frequently and you have the latest major software update and you've had it for quite some time. But the iPhone 10 booted up way faster there than the Galaxy S8. But when it comes to Face Unlock, we do have the first generation Face ID here for iPhone 10, which wasn't bad whatsoever. Actually, it was pretty polished when it first came out, and you could see swipes through very fast. However, there's no Touch ID integrated within that power button. There's just no fingerprint sensor whatsoever. What was nice about the Galaxy S8 is that the Galaxy S8 did have several different ways to unlock. You could do 2D face recognition, you could do iris scanner, and you could also use the fingerprint sensor up there, not located in the best place. We're just going to test the irises in 3, 2, 1. And again, 3, 2, 1. And you could see it works pretty well. However, sometimes you got to hold that phone closer to your face and you got to line up your eyes. So overall, it could be a little bit slower sometimes than iPhone 10. I do think Face ID is a better facial recognition option, but if you did like fingerprint sensor, the S8 had it for you. And confirming their software, you can see 13.3.1 iPhone 10, Android 9 Pie with the very first, the One UI 1.0 version for S8. Okay guys, so we've arrived at the application portion of this speed test. You can see everything closed out for Galaxy S8, everything closed out for iPhone 10. Let's head into calendar. You can see faster for iPhone 10, clock, faster for iPhone 10, calculator, also faster iPhone 10, settings, faster iPhone 10. Let's go ahead and scroll a little bit, kind of see how that looks. iPhone 10 looks a little bit less choppy when scrolling than the Galaxy S8, but that's because the S8 doesn't have no 90 hertz, 120 hertz. The smooth UI on the iOS on the iPhone 10 just makes it feel a little bit smoother to use day to day than S8. Let's go into weather, and you can see weather first there for iPhone 10, but that's probably because Samsung decided to start putting ads in the weather app, which makes it longer to load up. Let's go home here and let's go into Twitter. And you could see Twitter pretty even, but that one is the Galaxy S8 for certain. Let's go over here to my profile, and that looked like the iPhone 10 snapped it open, but I mean, again, this is so not that very different here in Twitter. Let's go into the next application, iPhone 10 sliding around. Let's go into Snapchat. You can see iPhone 10 had that one. Let's go into YouTube. And you could see iPhone 10 had that one as well, trending. Looks like the iPhone 10, both scroll very fast. The performance is very little here, even though the S8's not being updated anymore. Let's go into Instagram. And you could see that one's the iPhone 10. However, I will state that because the Galaxy S8 sometimes does have a little bit of choppiness, the overall experience feels more fluid on the iPhone 10. And you see Amazon went to the iPhone 10. Let's go into eBay. And you see eBay is first there for Galaxy S8. So yeah, the S8's still a very fast phone. Snapdragon 835, we have 4 gigs of RAM. But at the same time, iPhone 10 still has that more smooth feel. Samsung really stepped it up with the S9, the S10, no longer. But the S8 was one of their last phones to have a little bit of chop. Let's go into Geekbench. And you can see that's easily to the iPhone 10. Let's go into PUBG Mobile. Now we're in gaming. Gaming has historically beat Samsung for Apple, and a lot of people switch from Android to Apple because they have a lot of great titles on the App Store. And you can see, looks like the iPhone 10 has jumped way ahead. Oh my lord. Oh, look at this. Let's go ahead and X that out. Still waiting on the Galaxy S8. Wow, this is an incredible feat of difference here. I mean, we're already playing a match by the time the Galaxy S8 gets in there. So yeah, if you're looking for a 2017, you're having a hard time deciding, I think it's pretty evident which one you should go with if you're looking at least for performance. For the next game here. And you could see iPhone 10 just snapped that thing right open. And there is the Galaxy S8. Let's hit play and see which one can get in the game first. And iPhone 10 jumping ahead. Again, the gaming, there's no comparison. If you're looking for one of these used, get the iPhone 10 if you want the better gaming experience, if you want the more fluid UI. So let's go to the next game, Mortal Kombat, and see how this does perform. Now, I want you to keep in mind something. The Galaxy S8 is one of the last phones to have like 4 gigs of RAM in their flagship phones. Also, the processors have gotten much faster for these Android devices, the newer Galaxy phones. So don't take this video and think, oh, this is just what Samsung does. 2 years later, no updates. That might be true, but at the same time, the performance on these newer Samsungs, I expect to be a lot better going forward. You can see Mortal Kombat wasn't too different on both. Actually, the S8 might have even had that one. I didn't see it 100%. Let me know on Mortal Kombat down below. But as a whole, I do think the iPhone 10 here 3 years later is a smoother overall performing phone. But the Galaxy S8 is still a functional phone. It's very usable still. Let's go into the multitasking just to see if we can get any chokes on either of these phones. Any reloads. So far iPhone 10 looks to be doing a little bit better. And let's go into PUBG. And you'll notice that the gestures are a lot smoother. There's a reload there for the Galaxy S8. See, this stuff just doesn't happen on their newer 8 gig of RAM phones here. So S8 was a little bit, under rammed, if you will. Had less RAM than it probably should have. So we're not going to reload this whole game. You've seen it did reload. Let's go into Geekbench 5. Another reload there for the Galaxy S8 Pandora. And still better performance. Oh my, look at this. This is not great for this S8. Let's go into eBay. Another reload. And let's go into Amazon. And looks like everything kind of just is crashing or just didn't stay in memory there for the S8. Let's go into Instagram. And you can see a little bit of a pause there for iPhone 10 somewhat, but it still does a good job. You can see nothing. We're just reloading everything here for S8. Even Snapchat, Twitter. Yeah, this is not a good look here for this S8. So if you are looking for one of these phones in overall performance, you're going to be a little bit more disappointed with the Galaxy S8. The iPhone 10 has much better RAM management, even though it has less RAM than this Galaxy S8 in 2020. And so let's see how fast their cameras do launch here. 3, 2, 1. And you could see iPhone 10 a little bit faster. What about taking a photo? Not too big of a difference. The iPhone 10 doesn't have this nice quick launch feature that you get from the Galaxy S8. On the whole, I don't think you're going to miss your memories on either of these in terms of speed. Very good speed when it comes to opening the camera. But the iPhone 10 does give you 2 lenses versus 1 here for the Galaxy S8. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and do a web browsing test here between both of them to see how they do perform in the web. 3, 2, 1. And you can see iPhone 10 a little faster, but it looks like the Galaxy S8 caught up. Again, a smooth scroll versus more of a speedy scroll there. Web browsing looking pretty fun on both though. Let's go into YouTube. Over here, YouTube. Can't type today. Let's go into youtube.com. Let's go into youtube.com here. 3, 2, go. And looks like the iPhone 10 slightly ahead there. And let's go into another application. How about facebook.com? And let's go to facebook.com here. And 3, 2, 1. And you can see iPhone 10 again. So the web browsing experience also seemingly faster for the iPhone 10, but this is not by a substantial margin. So I do have to say it's not going to be that much different. And also the Galaxy S8 has better mobile performance when on the go. So 4G LTE. So you actually will probably have a better experience web browsing when on the go because the modem sometimes just don't give you great LTE performance when you're out and about on the iPhone 10. And now let's go ahead and run a Geekbench 5 and I will be back when these scores are done. And so the final scores are in and you can see the iPhone 10 with a crushing victory over the Galaxy S8 and Geekbench. And that brings me on to my conclusion. It's very evident here that 3 years later, the third model year of these two, the iPhone 10 was the better pick in terms of performance. Now, in terms of feature set, you could argue it was the Galaxy S8. In terms of look, you could argue it was the Galaxy S8 with no notch, things like that. But in terms of longevity, this is proof that If you bought the iPhone 10 back then, you did a great job if you were planning to keep this thing a long time. Now, this video is not an indicator that future Samsung phones that came after this are going to be the same thing. The Galaxy S10 is far faster than the Galaxy S8. The S20 is far faster than the Galaxy S8, even when they launched. So I don't expect this to be the case down the line. I actually expect these phones to equally perform as well going forward. But keep in mind one very important thing. The Galaxy S8 has always been cheaper than iPhone 10, and to this day, if you go to buy one of these, the Galaxy S8 is far cheaper than the iPhone 10. So take it for what you will. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this. Please comment your thoughts, questions, concerns down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here helping you to master your technology. Thank you very much for all your support and your continued viewership. I'm very grateful for that each and every day. I will catch you all on the next episode. Peace.